Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to Community Unitarian Universalist Congregation at White Plains. I am Gus Carroll, and my pronouns are he, him. I'll be your worship associate this morning. With open hearts and minds, we covenant together to shape our congregation with love, acceptance, patience, and respect. In relationship, we covenant to explore life's questions across all our generations. We covenant to work together for justice in our world and in service to our community, and to pledge as we can to our CUUC community. In relationship, we covenant to call ourselves to account to one another and to engage in dialogue so that we may hear, we are heard, and we better understand. We hold ourselves to these ideals each day. We begin again with love. Those watching on Zoom can find an order of service on our website, cuucwp.org. For those here in person, if you have not already done so, please silence your phones. If you're new and visiting us online this morning, please take a moment to click on the link in the chat and fill out the visitor form and let us know how you'd like to be connected. If you're new and visiting in person, we invite you to stop by the welcome table and say hello. Part of being in a community is sharing our lives with one another. All are invited to share a joy or sorrow in our milestone book on the table by the south windows. For those on Zoom, please follow the prompts in the chat.
Good morning. My name is Emily Economo, and I use the pronouns she, her. Also a worship associate this morning. There we go. Okay, thank you. We begin our service in a shared ritual, lighting our chalice, the symbol of our Unitarian Universalist tradition. As we light our chalice up front, we invite our young people to light the chalices in the family area, and for you at home to light your chalice or a candle. Please join me in saying the words on our screen or in your order of service. We light a small flame on the eve of the autumnal equinox, remembering the promise of life abundant, of a possible peace. We pause to tell the stories, to sing the songs, and to bring more light into the world.
Ooh! Ah! Perhaps you noticed something a little different this morning. Perhaps you didn't notice because it's so beautiful, it looks like it's always been here. Is it my hair? A huge, huge gratitude to Dave Morkel. If we can just wave to him because he's joining us online. He watched us on Sunday mornings and said, if I see that light flip back and forth one more time. All right, that's not actually what Dave said. He said... He said, the pulpit doesn't look like it's big enough for everything you have going on. Can I build you a bigger pulpit top? And he did, and it is stunning. So thank you so much, Dave. And it just feels good. Okay, all right. Our opening words, a Mabon blessing by the Reverend Suzelle Lynch. As autumn returns to Earth's northern hemisphere and day and night are briefly but perfectly balanced at the equinox. We remember anew how fragile life is. Human life, surely, but also the lives of other creatures. Trees and plants, waters and winds. In preparation for the equinox, we gather to remind ourselves to make wise choices in what and how we harvest. We gather in hope that the earth's weather will be kind, that there will be enough food for all creatures. We gather to pray that as the light diminishes in our daytime skies, we will meet the gathering darkness with a growing compassion in our hearts. Come, let us worship, let us sing together. Our first hymn this morning, One More Step. And we know that there are many ways we move our bodies forward, through taking steps, through the turning of wheels, our hearts and minds, as well as our physical bodies. I invite you to translate the first verse as you need to, holding in our hearts our commitment to building belonging for and with everyone, everywhere.
Step, we will take one more step till there is peace for us and everyone. We'll take one more step, one more word. We will say one more word till every word is heard by everyone. We'll say one more word. One more prayer, we will say one more prayer, till every prayer is shared by everyone. We'll say one more prayer, one more song, we will sing one more song, till every song is sung by everyone. We'll sing one more song.
I wonder if anybody really likes to play with Lego. I wonder if we have any Lego players that would come up with me and help me with something. Oh, we do. Okay, so let's sit down. Let's look at what we got here. Adults, anybody else who wants to build with Lego? We're going to talk about Lego a little bit. What do we think?
I think we should make
A house, a truck.
I think we should explode.
We found TNT, of course.
I think we can make
A dinosaur, a castle. That's what's... So we're going to talk about this while we do. What's really cool about Lego, right, is we have this whole basin bin, and we can build anything we want. What does it mean? Can you answer this question? What does it mean to build something? What does it mean? Yeah. Yeah, to build a house with bricks and things. What else does it mean to build? Yeah, Rosie. To use your creativity to make something. There's so many pieces in here. And one of the things we're talking about this month is building belonging. So if we were to add a piece for belonging, what would that look like? How do we build belonging? By making what you want, we build, making space for everybody, making a house for everybody, having lots of pieces, because everybody, a shovel. So what's really interesting, can I borrow this for just a second? Because I want to tell you something really interesting, and then we're going to go back to this. Can I tell you something? So we talk about building belonging. We each have a piece to add to what we're creating, but we don't start from scratch. What do we have at the bottom? What is this? We have that's beautiful, a beautiful mechanical palm tree that we're adding to our base. This is our foundation in our garden, a base plate. What I love about our tradition, about being Unitarian Universalist, is that we're never building alone. Are we ever building alone? Sometimes you do, but we can build with our friends. We build on the foundation of those who came before, which is what we're talking about this morning.
Today I finished a Lego dinosaur.
A Lego dinosaur. So this is what we're gonna do. Sometimes, beloveds, our best laid plans are superseded by joy that is Lego. So, we're going to talk about Francis, Watkins, Ellen, Harper later, and I think we're going to invite our young folks to go outside. What do we think? Yes, that's what we should do. Okay, all right, so lessons we learn. All right, everybody, I'm going to borrow these. These are going to be, I'm going to take these because you have a special project this morning. Do you know what your special project is? So, we have a special project. Do you know what it is? You are going outside this morning to do some activities on the trails. So if I can get our rainbow tunnel, everybody on that edge, there's some up there as well. If you need your coat, do grab your coat. We're going to go outside and enjoy the beautiful grounds here at CUUC. All right, sound good? All right. We'll sing our children out.
May your mind be open to new learning. May your lips bring truth into the world. May your heart know love and your hands do the work of justice as you go your way in love. May your mind be open to new learning. May your lips bring truth into the world. May your heart know love and your hands do the work of justice as you go your way in love. As you go your way in love.
As people of faith, we are called to nurture into being a community held by love and justice, where we interact through compassion and kindness, and where we find ourselves a sense of belonging. And the love we cultivate here reaches beyond these walls as we carry our values into the world to create more spaces for belonging. Giving is one way we express our values. Your generosity, large or small, supports the ministries of this congregation and helps us nurture community beyond our walls where care and connection can flourish. Our September plate share is with the Interfaith Council of New Americans Westchester. ICNA has been working in Westchester for 9 extraordinary years, helping refugee families build new lives here. Our current focus is working with our settled families facing uncertainty. We hope CUUC will continue to work with ICNA in this commitment of care and solidarity. Thank you for your kindness and compassion, for all the ways you help make CUUC and our world more welcoming to every living being.
It is a joy to continue to hear the enthusiasm and the voices of our beloved church congregational children, to be part of such a vibrant and loving community where they're delighted to be together and delighted to be here.
Part of being in community is sharing our lives with one another, our joys, our sorrows, our milestones, reminding each other that we don't hold our loves alone. We lift into this love the voices of our community and share in prayer, written by Kate Bowler and Jessica Ritchie. Join me in a shared breath. Spirit of life, spirit of love, it's good to be together. May we begin in gratitude for this day, for this moment, for all of our beloveds gathered here and joining virtually this morning. May we remember that we are held in this holy embrace, this universal expanse, this human experience, never alone, but together. We live into this love, the family and community of Jacqueline Kittrell Tynes, who died on July 31st. We held the celebration of her life here yesterday. The room was filled with love, care, and inspiration from her life. The flowers were left as a note of gratitude from the family. We live into this love, a joy. First Unitarian Society of Westchester has moved into a new space where they will continue to build a loving, caring community in Hartsdale. Please sign a card of congratulations to our UU siblings. We are one of 5 UU congregations in Westchester County. May we celebrate one another. We lift in this love all those preparing to celebrate the Jewish High Holy Days. We lift in this love the joys, sorrows, and milestones that remain in our hearts, the hearts of our beloveds online, unspoken, but shared in love. Blessed are you, dear one, when the world around you has changed. Everything is different now. Your body, your age, your relationships, your job, your faith, the things that once brought you joy, the people you loved and trusted and relied on, the way you exist in the world, things have changed. And it would be silly to imagine you haven't altered along with them. You are not who you once were. Bless that old self. They did such a great job with what they knew. They made you who you were, all the mistakes and heartbreak and naivete and courage. And blessed are you who you are now and who aren't pretending things are the same. You who continue to grow and stretch and show up to your life as it really is. Wholeheartedly, vulnerable, maybe a tiny bit afraid. Bless you that changed. Please join me in a moment of quiet. Let's step back a little bit to the 19th century. The 19th century was a time of significant social political upheavals. And through these rapid changes, people were very eager to get information, and literacy was on the rise. John Grispan, a political history curator at the Smithsonian Institute, writes, "Newspapers had been around for centuries by the 1800s, but as American rates of literacy rose, millions of ordinary citizens became daily news junkies. The number of papers jumped from a few publications in 1800 to 4,000 brawling rags by 1860, collectively printing hundreds of millions of pages each year. They ranged from the snarky, immensely popular New York Herald and the blood-drenched crime reports of the National Police Gazette to the high-minded abolitionism of the Liberator. Nearly everyone literate devoured them, from wealthy elites to schoolgirls to enslaved people technically banned from reading. Newspapers published scandals and rumors, riling mobs and sparking frequent attacks on editors, often by other editors. Well into the 20th century, communities were still pulling newspaper presses out of local rivers, having been hurled there by angry mobs. 95% of American newspapers had explicit political affiliations. Many were directly bankrolled by political parties. There was no concept of journalistic independence and nonpartisanship until the turn of the 20th century. These partisan presses, not the government, even printed the election ballots. Readers voted by cutting ballots from their pages and bringing them to the polls." End quote. Frances Ellen Watkins Harper worked and lived within all of that. She witnessed significant changes, including labor movements, slavery abolition work, women's suffrage, and more. She lived through the passing of the 13th, the 14th, and the 15th Amendments, which all addressed slavery, citizenship, due process of law, and voting rights for men of color. She broke through all the different types of media with her own lecture, book, pamphlet, and poetry writing. Poetry had a unique role in early America as another form of mainstream media. Poetry, rather than straight news, could use metaphor, humor, satire, and innuendo. In early America and in England, poetry often spoke specifically to political or societal events of the times. As we move from the 18th to the 19th century, America starts to separate itself from English poets and embrace themes leaning more towards optimism, nature, individualism, and democracy. Think Walt Whitman and Emily Dickinson. And yet poetry still had a strong role in sending messages about all the turmoil happening in the 19th century. Our reading today, Frances Ellen Watkins Harper wrote in 1890. That places the poem just 19 years before this congregation was founded. Let me make the songs for the people, songs for the old and young, songs to stir like a battle cry, wherever they are sung. Not for the clashing of sabers, for carnage, nor for strife, but songs to thrill the hearts of men with more abundant life. Let me make the songs for the weary, amid life's fever and fret, till hearts shall relax their tension and careworn brows forget. Let me sing for little children before their footsteps stray, sweet anthems of love and duty to float o'er life's highway. I would sing for the poor and aged when shadows dim their sight, of the bright and restful mansions where there shall be no night. Our world, so worn and weary, needs music pure and strong to hush the jangle and discords of sorrow, pain, and wrong. Music to soothe all its sorrow, till war and crime can cease, and the hearts of men grow tender, girdle the world with peace.
Hi, everyone. Reverend Danielle is feeling a little under the weather. She's fine, but she's going to sit out the sermon, and she's asked me to read it for her. So I'm going to put on my specs. And here we go. You ready? In February, in the thick of cold, wet, gray days, when winter seemed like it would spread for eternity, I started to plan a container garden. I bought the book, Rebel Gardening, all about gardening in small spaces. I looked up companion plants, made spreadsheets for what would go where, and I thought about the tea that I love to drink and imagined a summer where I would have chamomile, skullcap, lemon balm, and echinacea growing all around me. I imagined myself picking the flowers and drying them, gently placing them in glass jars, and then by next winter, this winter, I imagined myself sitting in the parsonage in front of the fireplace, tea in hand, made with plants that I had grown, capturing the joy of summer warmth to enjoy in the winter. I can't wait to see where this goes. I researched the correct size for containers for tomatillas, peppers, and cherry tomatoes. Bought bare root strawberries so that we would have strawberries this summer, growing from seeds, takes at least 1 or 2 seasons to get fruit. I started the seedlings in the beginning of March. If you notice the strange purple glow of grow lights in the parsonage window, I had a fan blowing on the seedlings to strengthen their tiny little stems so that they would be ready to withstand the winds of an early spring outside. I had a vision and a well-researched plan. I planted the tiny seedlings in their slightly too big container gardens. I put them outside and I waited. Not once did I look up to notice the trees surrounding the parsonage had barely begun to bud. We have choices in this moment, especially those of us with a certain amount of privilege to decide not to look up, not to notice what's around us, to hide because it's all the everything just too much. We talked about this last week. Or we can turn to apathy, to try and disconnect entirely. Or we can turn to despair. We can look for the helpers, as Mr. Rogers would remind us. Look for the helpers, the people that are making a difference where they can, attending rallies, supporting neighbors, writing postcards. What do we turn to that encourages us to sing one more song, say one more prayer, move one more inch, and then another, and then another? This does ask something of us. Or maybe we risk asking something of this forward movement. Do we still believe in what we are moving toward? Do we still believe that what we long to create is possible? As we see threats against free speech, Another freedom and foundational right of our country being tested right in front of us. Another in what has felt like a long line of setbacks for those who believe in the ideals of freedom, reason, and equity for everyone. As Unitarian Universalists, as people who have claimed this tradition, even if it's just for this hour, we have ancestors, we have ancestors that we can turn to when we aren't sure if there's one more prayer left. Frances Watkins Ellen Harper was born the same year as the American Unitarian Association in 1825. 6 years before that, William Ellery Channing gave his Baltimore sermon, which many of us who were in Baltimore for GA heard about, which claimed the name Unitarian, which had previously been used as a pejorative by the religious conservatives in New England. The sermon and the association gave name to a liberal theology that no longer claimed the Trinitarian ideas of Calvinism and instead embraced Jesus as fully human and embraced civil rights and liberties that we still believe today. So that's where we were in Unitarian Universalism history. The formation of the liberal religious denomination Unitarianism about 32 years after the Universalist Church of America was founded in 1793. As we shared earlier, and I think she was referring to the story she was going to read to the children, Frances Watkins Ellen Harper was born in 1825 to free black parents in Baltimore, Maryland. Her parents died when she was quite young, and she moved to live with her uncle, an abolitionist, William Watkins. She published her first book of poetry in 1845, and then in 1850, the Fugitive Slave Act was passed. The law mandated the return of runaway enslaved people to the South and imposed even more severe penalties for those who helped them. The Watkins family was no longer safe in Baltimore, and she left for Ohio and then Pennsylvania. From her Dictionary of UU biography, Watkins continued to write, and in 1854, her poems on miscellaneous subjects attracted critical notice and became her biggest commercial success. In these poems, she attacked not only racism, but also the oppression of women. Most of the earnings from this and her other books went to help free the enslaved people. In 1854, she also began her lecturing career. She was much in demand on the anti-slavery circuit, and she traveled extensively in the years before the Civil War. By the end of the century, she had over 100,000 books in print. She was known for her ability to weave her poetry into her lectures, speaking in front of the World Congress of Representative Women, the National Council of Women of the United States. She shared her platform with Frederick Douglass, Sojourner Truth, William L. Garrison, and Unitarian Lydia Marie Child. Friends with John Brown, Susan B. Anthony, Elizabeth Stanton, Ida B. Wells. Again, from her biography, she spoke up for the empowerment of women and worked with Susan B. Anthony and Elizabeth Stanton to secure votes for women. Unlike Anthony and Stanton, Harper supported the 14th Amendment, which together with the 15th granted the vote to black men but not to women. Recognizing the ever-present danger of lynching, she reasoned that the African American community needed an immediate political voice. With that would come the possibility of securing further legal and civil rights. Imagining what she experienced through her life, how she would have felt after the setbacks again and again, after the violence and fear, she still used her voice and her poetry to stay firm in her beliefs, her ideals, that there is a perfect love that exists even still. She shared the following on April 14, 1875, at the centennial anniversary of the Pennsylvania Society for Promoting the Abolition of Slavery. What we need today in the onward march of humanity is a public sentiment in favor of common justice and simple mercy. We have a civilization which has produced grand and magnificent results, diffused knowledge, overthrown slavery, made constant conquest over nature, and built up a wonderful material prosperity. But two things are wanting in American civilization: a keener and deeper, broader and tenderer sense of justice, a sense of humanity, which shall crystallize into the life of the nation the sentiment that justice, simple justice, is the right not simply of the strong and the powerful, but of the weakest and feeblest of all God's children. A deeper and broader humanity which will teach people to look upon their feeble siblings not as vermin to be crushed out or beasts of burden to be bridled and bitted, but as the children of the living God, of that God whom we may earnestly hope is in perfect wisdom and in perfect love, working for the best good of all. We are here celebrating 200 years from her birth, learning from her bravery and her faith that there was a reason to keep fighting, keep singing, keep praying, and keep working toward this vision of what's possible for all people. There is a reason to keep up this prayer, centuries old. Here is one example, one life that was supported, held up, and cared for, and encouraged by countless others who held on to truth and justice even when the odds were against them, even when violence was regularly used as a threat to silence their voices, even when they wouldn't live to see the outcomes of their efforts. I share this story to place us in a lineage of those who have faced impossible odds before, and yet through their faith, dedication, and commitment, kept going even when, even still, even though. We get to choose. We get to choose whether we look up, listen for the heartbeat in the moral courage of our ancestors, to decide how to sing one more song. In the spirit of moral courage, I offer one more story. We are hearing a lot about Jimmy Kimmel and the test of freedom of speech, the freedom of people to be able to speak without fear of retaliation from the government. From our UU World magazine quote, Unitarian Universalists have been here before, and we have acted in accordance with our values to support the First Amendment. In 1971, when the federal government tried to block the Pentagon Papers from being made public, the UUA's own Beacon Press, alongside Senator Mike Gravel, published the full record. According to Beacon, as a result of publishing the papers, President Nixon personally attacked Beacon Press. The director of the press was subpoenaed to appear at Daniel Ellsberg's trial, and J. Edgar Hoover approved an FBI subpoena of the entire denomination's bank records. But our faith stood firm. We will help reduce the likelihood of our nation becoming involved in a similar situation, said then UUA President Robert West. In other words, transparency and truth are not optional. They are acts of moral courage. Institutions are a lot harder to silence than individuals. By July, the beautiful trees around the parsonage grew and grew and grew, almost completely covering the deck in shade. Now, the tomatoes are the size of dimes, and the peppers are still flowers, and it's the end of September, but maybe they'll grow and ripen. This summer, I also learned that squirrels don't wait for strawberries to ripen. They do not care that Harvey and I were patiently waiting for the 2 barely surviving green strawberries to get a hint of red. We went outside one morning and they were gone. To Harvey's credit, he was proud that the strawberries he had grown went to feeding the squirrels. After all, he had some in the refrigerator anyway. In honor to this season, in preparation for the equinox, we gather to remind ourselves to make wise choices in what and how we harvest. We gather in hope that Earth's weather will be kind, that there will be enough food for all creatures. The lesson then to remember, research, and heart full of ideas and hope isn't enough if I don't stop and understand the larger story around me. What is the song we are going to sing? What is the prayer we are going to say? What is the move we are going to make? Can we do that together as a community? We are an ecosystem that relies on one another. The people who place love as care, but also love as dismantling systems of oppression that harm everyone. Love that believes everyone is inherently worthy. Everyone deserves equity, freedom, who have persisted even still holding strong to moral courage. Whether you look for the helpers or the people who call you back or the ancestors who modeled moral courage, remember to look up. Notice what's around and remember we aren't in this alone. They wouldn't be trying so hard to silence the comedians, the artists, the musicians, the liberal religious institutions if we were powerless. We have a foundation to build on, a message to continue to share again and again, just as our ancestors before us and our congregation's children will after us. We will sing one more song again and again and again. Our world, so worn and weary, needs music pure and strong to hush the jangle and discords of sorrow, pain, and wrong. Music to soothe all its sorrow till war and crime shall cease and the hearts of men grow tender, girdle the world with peace. Music to soothe the sorrow. Our choir is going to share the song Siyahamba. We are marching, imagining again the language that is meaningful for you, dancing and singing in the light of God. A song to celebrate liberation and freedom. One more song. We will sing one more song, and another, and another. May it be so.
Thank you for being with us today. Our weekly e-communitarian and RE newsletter offer many details of activities here at CUUC. We hope you can take a moment to discover all the interesting offerings awaiting you within our community. It's been a gift to be together today. As we enjoy our party music, please spend a few minutes talking with someone you don't know. Escort each other to coffee hour and other events. And may we all know the blessings of friendship.
I'm back. I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Terry Kong. I use the pronouns she, her. And I'm also the organizer of today's Life of the Congregation Fair, which we have instead of the social hour today. So, just a couple of notes about the fair. We are holding it both at the back of the sanctuary in the fireside area and in Fellowship Hall. There is coffee in both rooms, okay? So don't panic. Also, the children have an activity. You will pick up your children first. The children have an activity. They have an activity where they go around to each of the tables and get stickers after asking a couple of questions. So if you have children that you're picking up, help them with that activity. They should have a sheet. To make sure that we're not all bunched up in one room at the same time, I will request that those whose last names begin with A through L, figure out who you are. Did the little alphabet song in your head. A through L, yes. Okay, A through L, you are going to start in Fellowship Hall, which is where all the social justice teams are, okay? And the rest of you start at the back of the sanctuary, and when you finish here, just swap rooms. We're not going to call time or anything, okay? If you have any questions, look for myself or Rachel Diamond. We'll be bopping back and forth. Thank you very much, and please stay for the music.
Please join me in extinguishing our chalices with words from Becky Laurent. For those of you online, please extinguish your chalice at home with us. As flame is to spirit, is to breath, and breath to song, though we extinguish the flame in this sanctuary, may we tend it in our hearts until we meet again. Our worship has ended, but our service now begins. May we keep singing one more song, one more song, one more song. Amen.